Now let's look at another example, alright? This one is almost exactly like the previous one, right? Only that I changed some of the numbers. So once again, I want to do the same thing. I want to find this line x, and I want to find this angle theta, alright? Now to find x, we use SAS cosine formula. We have SAS, alright? The two sides and the included angle. So we have x squared will be 10 squared, and 2 squared minus twice 2 times 10 times cosine 50, alright? Now you can do it on the calculator, so the answer is 8.85, right? Now remember the mistake. I just showed you a mistake. I forgot to put the x here, right? If you miss the x here, that means x squared is 8.85, and that is wrong, alright? But if you allow more digits in the calculator, it turns out that for the intermediate result, I'd rather have more digits to avoid premature rounding, alright? So it's better to have 8481 as the intermediate result, okay? So and then just like the previous, we want to find the orange angle theta. We can do it with sine formula or cosine formula. So let's look at this one. Find theta, right, using the cosine formula, and find theta using the sine formula. So using the cosine formula will be triple S, alright, because we have 2, 10, and the x. So we can have cosine theta equals to 2 squared plus x squared minus 10 squared divided by twice 2x, alright? So let me do it on the calculator. Once again, don't forget the theta. If it just equals, then you miss the theta here, alright? The answer is 120.03 degrees, alright? Now this is a poor presentation because I should have put back the theta in here, mind you, alright? This cosine theta is a negative number, so theta will give you 120.02, alright? It's okay. Now let's do it with sine theta. So with sine theta, we have once again the same pair, 50 degrees match with x, 10 matches with theta. So we have sine theta divided by 10 is sine 50 divided by x. Okay, sine theta divided by 10 is sine 50 divided by x. So we have theta. Let's do it on the calculator. It turns out that theta is 59.97. Okay, wow, there's a huge difference between these two answers. It's even worse than the previous time. Alright, there's a huge difference between these two features. Now previously there is a tiny difference between these two answers, alright? And we can explain it. How did we explain it? We explain it with premature rounding, alright? We round off the number x too early, too much, alright? So that is an accuracy problem in the question, in this answer. But now the difference, I don't think you can explain the difference with accuracy. The other is 59.97. This is almost 2 times as it. Or it's 120. So how could you explain the difference? By using the sine formula and the cosine formula. Alright? So which is correct? Is it 59.97 or is it 120.03 degree? The orange angle, alright? The purple one, no problem about the purple one. There is only one method to find x, so x is good, 8.85. But there are 2 methods to find theta, and the 2 methods do not agree. That's a big problem. They do not agree. Alright, the blue method and the green method, they come up with different answer. Why is it so? Alright, why is it so? Which is the correct answer, the blue part or the green part? Now it turns out that, let me give you the answer, right? You can think about it, you can stop the video and think about it. But I'm going to give you the answer now. Both methods are correct. Both methods are correct. Only that in the green part is not yet finished. It's not yet finished, alright? So what happened is that there is an there's a line in between that we have sine theta will be 0.86577, something like that, alright? Something like that. And then you use the inverse sine function to obtain theta. So that theta will be 59.97. But wait, do you remember that if you use the inverse function, the calculator will only give you one answer? there is another hidden answer not provided by the calculator. Now that is the entire problem about the sine formula. Alright. There is another hidden value 180 minus, if you remember something about inverse trigonometric function. Alright. If sine theta is A, then arc sine A will be theta or 180 minus theta. Right? If it were cosine, then it is theta or 360 minus theta. If it were tangent, then it is theta or 180 plus theta. Right, that is the nature of the inverse trigonometric function. Okay, that is the nature of the inverse trigonometric function. The calculator will only give you one answer, so you have to find the answer on your own. It turns out that theta is 59.97 degrees, or now here is where we come back the answer, 120.03. Alright, if you take 180 minus 59.97, it is 120.03. Now, these two answers, they agree to one another. Alright. So, the green method is correct. Only that there are two answers and you have to choose one of them. But you don't know how to choose, right, just from the given information. So what's the problem with the green method? If you look at the very beginning, if you look at this step, alright, we have the 50 degrees, we have the x, we have the tan. Now what is the situation here? If you have the 50 degrees, you have the x, you have the tan. This is the typical SSA situation, isn't it? Alright, we have two sides and one angle, but that is not the included angle. That is an angle on the other part. We have the x, we have the tan, we have the 50 degrees. Right? We want to find this orange angle theta. So the given information is in the SSA situation. Now, if you recall the first page, I didn't talk about SSA. I avoided, right? I secretly avoided the SSA situation because it is troublesome. Because if you use SSA sine formula, you will run into two solutions, alright? So in fact, what I did in the previous example, I haven't finished the green part yet. There should be another solution here, or 180 minus, alright? 180 minus 53.63. And then you have to choose which is better answer, which is the correct answer, alright? Only that in the previous example, I was lucky. I was fortunate that the first answer is the right answer. Alright, I didn't expect there is a second answer. So happened the second answer is not the right answer. But in this example, I'm not so fortunate. There are two answers. Alright, if you forget about this part, then you have only the first answer. It turns out that the first answer is not the right answer. Only the second one is the right answer. Alright, so now the SSA situation is difficult. We will talk about this in the next video. So in that case, what should we do, right? We should use cosine formula if possible. The thing to learn here is sine formula to find angle is ambiguous. We use sine formula to find angle is no good. Alright. Always use cosine formula if possible. Use cosine formula to find angles. To find lengths is no problem, right? But for finding angles, always use cosine formula to find angles. Alright. So this is the thing I want to remind you in this particular video. Alright. Let's recap it again. Use cosine formula to find angles, if possible. You may ask, well, there are also a hidden solution in cosine, but for cosine, the other angle is always greater than 180 degrees, right? For sine formula, the problem is it is theta and 90 minus theta. Both are possible answer in a triangle. But for cosine, the angle is theta or 360 minus theta. 360 minus theta is definitely not in the triangle. So you don't have to worry about the second hidden answer. So that's why the cosine formula is preferable. It's the preferred approach to find an angle if there's an option. Alright. So we'll deal with the SSA situation in more details in the next video.